Hey there, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all who all are joining us globally. My name is Parth Varu, and I am the Events and Program Manager for Microsoft Reactor India. And as we start our today's session, an exciting session or a beginning of a series, but let's go through our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together. So please be respectful of other people's views, understanding their differences, be kind and considerate in a way we all engage. Yes, we do encourage you all to participate. Please do drop all your questions or queries in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. And let's not wait. Let's not wait for the mood list. I'd like to call Swami. But before that, let me give you a glance of like what is all about our today's series. So, as we kick off the session of AI 102, you will all explore the fundamental AI development principles and discover the capabilities of Azure services designed for AI solutions. The session covers everything from defining artificial intelligence to responsible AI practices, including hands on exploration of Azure AI services and practical insights into resource creation and consumption. Yep. So, let me bring in Swami. Hi, Swami. How are you?
Hey Parth, I'm doing good. Thanks for hosting me. How are you doing, Parth?
I am all good, Swami. All good. Time for a coffee in India.
Okay, yes, that's true. And snacks.
Yes, that's absolute yes for the snack.
Snacks, tea and snacks.
Yep.
Cool. Is my screen sharing?
Yes, let me bring it up. Yeah, here we go. Yes, Swami, the
Thank you.
floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Hey guys, thanks for joining. So today is the first session of AI 102. Similarly, a couple of years ago, we did AZ 204 session where we did 25 sessions. The playlist is there. Now this is the one which we are starting new series. Um, so what are we going to do today? We'll quickly glance at this one, and also I'll give you the links where we will be hosting all these things. I'll just show that, then you can check this one. So this is the my GitHub link, and today's session will be under speaker series 2024. So that's in the speaker series 2024. You will see that one. I'll update it. I'm going to update it here in this one. If you see 0229, everything will get updated here shortly. And what is that we are going to do, including the source code which I am using it, I'll update everything and then send the links to Parth. So you'll host it in the YouTube once it is done. So as this is the first session, the previous sessions links are not there, and the current architecture, whatever we are doing, is not there. So first, let's look at the study guide. Okay, we'll go through the study guide as we did in the previous session. We will do the same thing here also, where we will give more focus on the hands-on part, and the links of the learn module is given so that you can do a deep dive into the documentation a little later, but I'll walk you through. First, let's spend some 5 to 10 minutes on this one, a minimum 5 minutes, to see that what is AI 102 is asking for. The latest updates, which was done on February 7th, some 20 days ago, we'll see that, and then we will go through some of the terminology. Even if we don't understand the terminology, we'll not worry about it, because we'll be doing 2 sessions a month. So we'll cover the entire syllabus of what is being discussed in AI 102, purely from the hands-on perspective, and we'll bring in more samples also, not only what is given here. We will do a little bit of improvisation. I'll show you where the code exists, how to execute it. Everything I'll show. We'll go through few of those terms, and then we'll go through quickly. We'll go through at a high level. Prepare to develop AI solutions. That particular learn module, and then create and consume AI services. Here there are two samples with the two flavors for this entire AI 102. If we do the examples in C Sharp and or Python, should be good enough. But Microsoft has given the documentation of in other programming languages also, Java, Go, TypeScript or JS. A lot of things are there, but if we learn this C Sharp or Python, that should be good enough for us to clear the exam. So I've given quite a few instructions, tried both the things with SDK as well as REST API in C Sharp .NET 8. And similarly in Python, again, I tried the SDK sample and the REST API sample. Everything we'll see step by step. So that's the thing, what is going to happen in next 55 minutes. Okay. So let's start with this. The study guide is here. So let me quickly take you to the study guide here. So if you see at a high level, this is where you'll get a authentic information and first-hand information. And the study guide has been updated on February 7th. The latest updates, you can see that. If you go deep into the weeds, you'll see that what are the changes, everything, the change log and everything is, if you see this skills as of 7th, you're seeing that one topic has been removed and one was a major change. And you can see that there are no changes in this section whatsoever. The first one, plan and manage, there are no changes, but there is a change in decision support. And if you see the computer vision, there are no changes. And NLP solution, you can see that there are no changes. And here also there are no changes. So only this particular section, the decision support solutions, they've removed the create decision support solution for content delivery has been removed. And here create decision support solution for data monitoring and content delivery, there was a major change. So that's the one. So take points perspective, let's see real quick. At an average, if we see, all we need to know is two of the programming languages, Python or C Sharp. And you see this is what we need to know, that requirements, definition and design development, deployment, integration, maintenance, performance tuning, and monitoring. And we see this, the plan and manage AI solutions. That's the first section we are dealing with. It's 15 to 20%. Implement decision support is again 10 to 15. Implement computer vision solution is 15 to 20. NLP is 30 to 35. So this is a big ticket item. Once if we get a good hold on this one, so that means we are almost near to the winning line. And knowledge mining and document intelligence is 10. And generative AI, OpenAI solutions, ChatGPT, other things will be 10%. So if you see, let's go step by step, because we'll be planning this plan and manage AI solutions 15 to 20%. So we will stick to the game plan. Inside this, we will be seeing that select appropriate AI services like computer vision, natural language processing, decision support, speech solution, generative AI, document intelligence, knowledge mining, and plan, create, and deploy AI services. I think we will be doing this one to a decent extent today. And manage, monitor, secure AI services, we will be revisiting in future. So I'll stop here. And now I think this is giving us a decent kickstart for us. All the things I have managed with the links I've given. So if you come to the syllabus perspective, everything is here. So we will go by step. This is the first section, getting started with Azure AI service. Inside that, there are two. If you come here, getting started with AI services, we are dealing with first two modules today. So prepare to develop AI solutions on Azure and create and consume AI solution. That is the second module is here. This is the first module. So every session will plan for two modules, not to do a overboard of anything or not to do overdo or underdo. The two modules is a decent fit in this 1 hour session. So majorly the focus will be on hands-on, like we will create those resources, we'll see some of the samples working, but that's the focus. Major focus is on hands-on, but we will touch upon the theoretical points also, but all these links has been given as part of the event creation itself. Okay, so that's about the first section. I didn't check in this code, whatever the demo script which I'm showing right now. It's being work in progress. I'll check in next 1 hour or so, or by tomorrow morning. But this one, by tomorrow morning, definitely I'll check in. So let's discuss about. There'll be a little bit of discussion for next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will jump into this section, and then purely from the hands-on perspective. But there are few terms which we need to understand, and some of the terms which, even though we don't understand, we will revisit that. No need to worry if we don't understand any of those terms, and if we miss some of the terms, again, always we are going to come back. Like this is the first session, a long way to go. So let's understand slowly. Okay, now let's discuss about what is intelligence. Just give me a minute, I'll have a close. What is intelligence? Now, we in our day-to-day activities or throughout our life, we do some actions. We learn from our senses. We observe and we learn sometimes with taste or with experience. A lot of things we learn. So from the real time things, like if someone is trying to hit us, what we will do, either we will block him or we will move backward. How are we gaining this? So the senses is giving us the direction. We'll learn from the previous data points. What is that? If you don't move, we'll get hit with it, so it is paining. So that's one data point. Or we'll understand, okay, if someone is trying to do like this, we have to do. So over a period of time, based on our experience, we will grow the intelligence. So if we see, we'll learn about few of the terms, like what is artificial intelligence. Just like this is we are tipping our toes in the water. There's nothing major we are doing today. It's just tipping our toes in the water and go back to the portal and start doing and working with the sample. But eventually we might get back to some of the concept which we have introduced, and again we'll soak ourselves more into the water. So artificial intelligence refers to the broader field of computers. So what happens in this artificial intelligence is the program or the software which mimics the human behavior. So this, what happens is this makes the machine learning or the deep learning. It learns from data and it will have an intelligence based on the given input. It behaves or it mimics the human behavior, human intelligence kind of thing. So again, in artificial intelligence itself, we have strong or general AI, or narrow or weak AI. So narrow or weak AI is, suppose you have a robot, that robot or some kind of AI program that does one specific job. That means assume that if something which is tracking whether there is a fraud happening, or something which is doing what is the trading, whether it will increase or decrease, or whether it is serving in a hotel, some kind of these kind of things which is doing a specific job, is like narrow or weak AI. Like specific job, it does one specific job. The strong or general AI is something which does a lot of things. Let's take example of ChatGPT. So it gives us a code solution, it gives us writing letters or correcting the grammar, or it does a number of things. That's like a strong or general AI. Now, if you see that machine learning, we see that a subset of AI. Now, in this machine learning, what happens is, how does the machine learns? So if you see, there are a lot of data. Someone who's trying to pay the bill and is using check, or is giving check and the check is getting bounced. So over a period of 2 3 check bounces, bank or the organization to which he's giving the check, they'll say that we are not going to allow check payment for this customer. They might ask him to pay through electronic mode or through debit card or credit card or cash or some other mechanism, but they're not going to allow him the check payment, because based on the previous history, we know that the check, whatever this guy is giving, is getting bounced. So we need a proper amount of data, and then we need to remove the noises and prepare the data so that it is in a presentable mode to that one. Then we need to select the model selection. What kind of model we will use? We come back to those things. So what kind of we will be using, and then we have to train the model, and once we train the model, then we have to evaluate whether the model is working fine or not, and then we have to do a parameter tuning, and then once the model is ready, we can put it in an inference cluster so that we can start using it. So suppose if it is not giving the predictions, then again we need to come back and do a parameter tuning. So we'll come back on those other words which I'm using, like inferencing and parameters will come back in future, but just these are the terms which we need to know as of today, just like inference and parameter tuning, model prediction. So all the way from the data collection till prediction, it's the machine learning. So generative AI, instead of prediction, it creates a new content. So what is a model? So model, if you see that, that's the combination of data and the algorithm is what. So if you see in summary, a model in AI/ML is a mathematical representation of learned pattern and relationships in data. It serves as a foundation for making predictions or decisions, ranging from image recognition, NLP, or recommendation system, or autonomous vehicle. Okay, that's the model, the algorithm, and the data on which we train will become a model. So you can see that when we are using the Azure OpenAI, we'll select which model to use it. So we'll come back to that one, but know that that's the mathematical representation or a framework that is used to train on the data, training data. So the training data is very, very important. All the models, if it is trained with a proper set of data, will get proper output. So if we don't train the data properly, so we might get a wrong results. So it is ongoing thing. So maybe in a company, for first 5 years, everybody is paying proper payment, and from sixth year, the guys who are having very clear history, his checks are getting bounced. So now again, you need to train data, isn't it? Every time a new edge cases or new cases are coming, we need to again feed in the extra training data or parameter fine tuning to have accurate or more near accurate prediction. Now, if you see that this one, deep learning is a subset of ML, focuses on neural networks. Okay, so we'll see like computer vision, NLP, speech recognition. We'll see some of these things. Now, NLP is the interaction between computers and human. So you can see that parts of speech or language detection, sentiment analysis, chatbot, machine translations, a lot of these things are there. So there is generative AI. So generative AI refers to generating new content. So again, from the training perspective, all these things should be here, all the way from data collection, preparation, model selection, training, evaluate, parameter fine tuning, hosting the inference clusters. Instead of prediction, will generate the new content. Okay, so a couple of the terms is generative adversarial networks and variational autoencoders. You can just do a walkthrough of this. We'll come back to these terms. Now, when we hear about artificial intelligence or whatever it is. We think that these things are coming up now or previous decade or one and a half decades or 2 decades ago. But this artificial intelligence, or I'm using the artificial intelligence AIML as a generic term, but if you see that the NLP has started back in 1960s. Okay, there is a link which is over here, and if you see that the early NLP program was developed around 60s, but I think it has come into life somewhere around 64 to 67. This is called ELIZA. And I was really lucky to get a hold of this program in Go language, but not in the original language, which was written by Joseph Sir. It is a very old program. He's the one who first created the NLP in 1960s. So this is ELIZA is a program, but this is how you can ask questions and it gives answer. It was pretty cool. Uh, it was pretty cool. The Golang version, whatever I was playing, it was almost. I was enjoying when I was playing with that. It's pretty good one. So this NLP or artificial intelligence or something, these kind of capabilities were existing from 60s onwards. Let's call it as mid 60s or early 60s, but it's not something new. It was mid 60s or early 60s, or let's call it as a 60s thing. So that's called ELIZA. I've given the reference to the link. You can go and look at it. Let's see 2 more minutes, then we will jump into the hands-on session for next 40 minutes. So OpenAI or Azure OpenAI, as we know that OpenAI is a company, and one of the major contribution funding was done by Microsoft, and Microsoft is a only company, I assume, cloud provider which gives an exclusive access to OpenAI, providing the lot of flexibility we are getting out of the box from the Azure cloud to interact with the OpenAI. And these models, GPT, GPT-3, GPT-4, and other models are being provided, and slowly it's getting expanded to different regions. And the latest models are also coming in. Some of the models has been trained with less data, less number of parameters, and those might give a different set of response. I can't tag it as a wrong response because there are a lot of things which depends the kind of data which we are feeding and how much data we fed and what are the parameters. Based on that, it uses its intelligence to give us a generate the content. Suppose you see that GPT-3, 3.5, and 4, they are being fed with tons and tons of data and a lot of parameters. Some things are going in millions of parameters. They're fine tuning. A lot of contents are being provided to that one. So it gives that content. So one thing is we need to feed a lot of data, tons and tons of contents, a lot of parameters, and that's one thing. And another thing is the prompt engineering will play an important role in this one. So if we don't ask a proper kind of question, it gives us a different answers. So two different engineers asking the same content but in a different way, so it might give a different output. So the prompt engineering and the content, what it has been fed into the system, and the number of parameters, a lot of things will play. So transformer, if you see that the transformer is one of the algorithm, like transformer in this context of AI and machine learning is just a deep learning model architecture. So the model is like what algorithms and on what set of data we are providing. So NLP tasks and other machine language. So you can see that that's the transformer. The terms are a little bit, this is the first day we are discussing, so it might be a little bit confusing, but again, time and again we'll revisit. So as of now, just understand this one. So GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. So transformer is underlying architecture or the model itself. Let's call GPT models in the transformer. So generative, we know that we have seen that it generates the content. The pre-trained is large content of data, maybe based on the books or video, picture, images. A lot of things has been fed into that one. So let's take one step back and let's copy all these terms and come back to this one. There is one nice, wow, there's one nice picture. I saw that here. If I put it versus in between, just give me a minute. So there'll be one of the good image if we come to this one. So see this, there are a lot of images. One of the images, like you can see there are tons and tons of images. Similarly, all these things are relative. You can see that if you put these terms, see you have the artificial intelligence at the top, then you have machine learning, then the deep learning, then large language models, conventional AI, NLP. All these things are related. So I just don't want to get deep into the weeds as of today, but understand why did we touch upon some of these things. Like if you see the notes or the syllabus on which we are learning, if you see what is artificial intelligence, it's talking about the visual perception, the vision, and the text analysis, speech, and decision making. And another important thing is if you see that related terms, it's something about the data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Again, the data science is like collection of the content, messaging, and doing lot of those things. But I'm touching upon a single thing. Like this, machine learning is the predictive models, and artificial intelligence is what we mimic the human behavior. So these all terms are related, but today is the first day, so we will learn this much and we will jump into that. Let's go to this first section. So whatever we are, this is the first section, prepare and develop. And let's see, understand the considerations for AI engineer. I will park this will be a little bit, we'll come back, like inferencing features and labeling and other things. It's a little bit theoretical stuff. We'll come back. That one thing four is will park it. And again, this is like fairness, reliability and safety, privacy, security, inclusive, transparency, accountability. This is like these are the things, some of things which is considered as a responsible AI. Like fairness, like we should ensure that there is no advantages given to something. The algorithm is behaving fairly for the entire set of data. So all those kind of rules, just go through that. So understanding the capability of Azure machine learning, you can see that automated learning, Azure machine learning designer, data and compute and pipelines. A lot of these things are coming. We'll come back to this Azure machine learning at a later stage, but understand that this is just some of the capabilities which we are seeing. And AI service is the one which is being termed. So previously, like Azure cognitive services, different things are there. Right now, if you see that, everything is coming into one umbrella. Azure AI services, multi-service account. I just created. We are going to create it again. Don't worry. We will create it. So we can see that we will have text analysis, question answering. The computer vision, you can see that NLP, you have the text analysis, Lewis translation, named entity recognition, custom text speech translations. Similarly, knowledge mining and documentation is intelligence and AI search, computer vision, image analysis, video analysis, image classification. A lot of these things are there, like decision support and generative AI. We are going to touch upon all these things because that's the part of syllabus. We are seeing that decision support, computer vision, NLP, document intelligence, and generative AI. So all these things are five sections are part of our exams. So to a decent extent, we will touch upon these things and understand the Azure OpenAI services. So this is the ChatGPT uh, service, the large language models and the generative things. We'll come back to this one slowly and understand the capability of Azure Cognitive Search. Okay, so it gives us quite a few information, but as of now I'm not touching about these things, enrichment pipelines and all these things, but understand that something is there. Azure Cognitive Search will come back to this one. So to a decent extent we have seen artificial intelligence, few of the terms and consideration of AI engineer. In that also we didn't discuss about the features, labels, inferencing, clusters, and other things. I just parked it. The responsible AI is the rules of the game, ensuring that no one is getting harmed or hurt, and no one is given special privileges and transparency. A lot of those rules of the games has been defined. And Azure Machine Learning, OpenAI Service, Azure OpenAI, we touched upon. Cognitive Search, I'm parking it aside. So now let's come back to the create and consume Azure OpenAI service. We have a decent 30 plus minutes. Let's spend some time on this one. So as I was mentioning, we will have lot of hands-on in this one. And again, to a decent extent, we'll always go and touch upon those theoretical stuff here, but mostly the focus will be on hands-on. And this is the first section. So to a decent extent we spent somewhere around 25 minutes to get our fundamentals, maybe 60,000 or 90,000 view, but we spent some time to understand few of the terms. Again, time and again we'll revisit on this one. So we'll see that Azure AI services, that previously each and every service used to be different. Now everything is being brought under the Azure AI services. So if you go and select it, so you can see that Azure AI services. Now see this one. Even though we say that Azure Cognitive Search, that's being shown under Azure AI services. So some of the terms has been changed. So we might see a slight differentiation between what is given in the documentation and what is there, which is available, even though we are trying to do a cognitive search. So it's, I think it's being called as AI search. But net, what is very important for us is Azure AI search is a multi-service account. You can see that here itself in Azure AI services, we can see lot of these things here. So Azure AI service multi-service account, as well as we have each individual account, each individual items which we can go and create. Azure AI services, I'll show you how do we create it. And the another advantage is we can go ahead and create a computer vision individual account. We can go ahead and create. I'll create it. Just give me this one. So let's call this as CV hyphen AI 102 hyphen dev hyphen 001. And the pricing tier, if you see that, it is allowing us to go ahead with the free tier. It is allowing us to go ahead with the free tier. I'm just creating this. Just give me a minute. What is that? I'm missing basics. Oh, okay. I didn't select this. Some of these models are available. Some of them will we will be able to create it, but we might need to ask for additional permission uh, because of this responsible AI and the rules of the game. It's very strict. We have to go ahead and ask for additional permission to use those services. This is, we are creating an individual service. So when we are creating the individual service, the advantage is that we might get a free tier. So at least for practicing those things, we might go ahead and create the individual listings. So let me come back here. I'll show you. Suppose if I want to create the the service account, the multi-service account. I think we have created a individual computer vision. It might take some time. Will not waste our time. Let's go here and let's create AI services. If I come in to create the AI services, you see this Azure AI services, and I'll click on Azure AI services, and it's the same resource group. Let's name it as 3. And here you can see this, the pricing tier. We don't get the free tier because this is umbrella for all sets of things. So let's create this one also. Then we will see that this is the multi-service account, and if you want, we can go ahead and create each individual items, each individual service as a separate item. One clear differentiation between individual service creation versus the umbrella or multi-service creation is that the multi-services comes with a cost. Okay, even though it is tagged it as a S0 pricing tier, it's a cost for sure, no doubt about it. When we use the individual services, we might get a free tier there, but we have to go ahead and verify that one. See this, we saw uh, this one. Let's go to this free tier computer vision. So here what happens is you can go to the studio. We'll create other things also. Welcome to the studio. Thank you so much for welcoming us to the studio. And here you can see there are a lot of things are there. What we will do is extract common tags. Let's use the first one, recognize products on the shelf. So there are pre-built. It's going to take some time. Don't worry, it will work. You can see that select an image. Now see this, each and everything it is recognizing the moment you go and mouse over. Let's come this, see that all the chips, whatever it is, all the food products it is recognizing. If we come here, so see that it is recognizing all these things, like see this, all the energy drinks it's recognizing. We can label that, and it will go ahead and recognize this one. So this is the free version. And let's come back to the resource group. I mean, that's an individual service. So this service is exclusively for the computer vision. So other one, we can see that this is a multi-service account. That means I can get into this one because right now I don't have anything in this one. But see, it costs us. You can see that the pricing tier is standard. So this is cognitive services, but it's called as Azure AI services multi-service account. All the language or decision or speech, you can see that everything is here, and anything we want we can get into the documentation. And we want to create something, we can go ahead and create. Sometimes what happens is it will give us a studio. So what does that mean is, if I come to the speech, let's see, speech translation. Let's go to this documentation, speech translation. See, does it provide a studio? If at all the studio has been provided, we can go ahead and use the studio. Speech studio is here. Select the speech studio, and we can get into the studio and start exploring that one, like how we created a computer vision, the individual service. Similarly, even if it is the multi-service account, from there we can again go back to the each of those individual services, and if at all it is giving the studio, we can directly go and uh, use the studio. And if not, we can we can create those services. See, you can see the custom speech, pronunciation, speech translation, like United States English to Dutch. I don't know any of these languages, but still we'll be able to do all these things here. Okay, so that's one thing. And another thing is, I will delete this because it is costing money. So I will delete it. The problem is, if we delete an account, again for next 48 hours, we'll not be able to create uh, the resource with the same name. So that's one thing. Okay, let's use this one. And after coming here, we have decision, language, speech. As we have seen that this is the multi-service account, we have containers and a lot of things are there. Slowly we'll do dive into each and every service, so we don't need to worry about any of these things. Okay, now we can come back to the keys and endpoints, and you can see that the keys and endpoints are here, so we can use these keys. We'll come back. I mean, anywhere if these keys are compromised, I can go ahead and regenerate it. You'll not be able to do anything until unless the keys are given to you. So that's very important point. So this one I'll close it, and here we are discussing about starting with this language service itself. We are starting with that, and the provisioning the AI services is, we saw that the multi-service account versus the individual services, that we have seen that whether it is of the training, prediction, inferencing, I'm parking it because this one I am focusing more on getting ourselves familiarized with the Azure portal and creating some of the services and seeing it. Okay, we'll definitely revisit these terms and how we use it. So one thing what we have seen, that whenever we are using the multi-service account, it costs us. Whenever we are using the single service resource, we might get a free tier. Generally, they offer with limited usage. That's what we have seen there. And the third thing is identify the endpoints. Just now we have seen that we need an endpoint and the key. Just now we saw that. And the next thing is, how can we communicate that? We can communicate with two different ways, at least as of now. One is through the REST API. We can use any tools where we can do get, put, or any of those HTTP verbs. We can do that. And another way is using the full-blown SDK. They'll give us the libraries. We can use those libraries to communicate, or you can use any of those tools, whether it is curl or postman or HTTP files or any mechanism you do it, you can use these one. But if you go to the official documentation of Microsoft, you'll see different programming languages, not only C# and Python. You have flexibility to use different programming languages. And this is the exercise we will be focusing today. So that's the exercise. When you click on the link here, you can the setup guide and everything, they have mentioned it here. So exercise instructions, when you click on here, it will take you to this MS Learn. So in this MS Learn, this is the first chapter's second exercise. You can see this, getting started with Azure services. Inside that there are 5 modules, and out of the 5 modules, we are discussing 2 modules. This one is most of the theory. This is where we started looking at the portal, creating the resources. We understood the multi-service account versus single service account. Single service account gives us the flexibility of free tier, but with limitation like X number of calls for a minute or for hour or for day or whatever it is. With some restriction, they allow free. But if you create a multi-services account, that is charged. Okay, that is, these are the 2 modules which we are focusing on. And inside the second module, if you expand this, there is it shows that how do you provision and how do you go and retrieve the endpoints and keys, how can we interact using the REST API, how can we interact with the SDK. And here is the first exercise. Let me close all these windows so that we can focus on this one. So in this, what we will do is we will be using the code to speak with the language service. So there are all other services also we can use, but this sample, whatever it was mentioning, is about this one. So right now I will stop here and go back to the code. So you can see the code here, Azure AI services, and these are the lab files. So this is the first lab, and this two I think we'll be covering in next session, and this in the session 3. So for today we did two modules. The first exercise belongs to the second module, so module 1 and module 2. For module 2 this is exercise, so module 3 and module 4 is this one, but numbering is little different. Let's not worry about that. Let's come and open that in a VS Code for a minute. We'll just go through it, and again we'll switch to VS 2022 to do this one. So the Python will stick to VS Code, is our friend. And I'm not telling that for C Sharp VS Code is enemy. No, we can use VS Code very well, but I just wanted to use it. So we see that the samples, whether it is a REST client or whether it is the SDK one, the sample which was given is in .NET 8. So I just did a straight lift of this code. I didn't do anything else. I did a straight lift and customized and put it in a different organization. Okay, the same code, but added little bit of spices to it. Nothing new. So it's purely the Microsoft official code. Okay, so I just created this using .NET 8. That's one thing. And the second thing is I'm using the static. So all over the code, never ever you will see that console dot. If I try for console dot, oh, there you go. I don't need to use that console dot. Ooh, quite a places the console dot is there. I don't need to use this console dot. Yeah, I don't need to use that console dot anywhere, because I'll show you. Just give me a minute. I'll okay. It is here at 3 places. I delete that. So now let's build, compile. Nowhere will we need to use it, because we are dropping that or instructing the framework to take care. So anywhere we put this item group in the code, so what will happen when we do this one? It's going to take care internally. So how does it take care? So when you give this instruction, you need to go to the obj debug .NET 8, and here you will have a global usings file with a project name dot global using dot cs. Are you able to see that? Yes, here. And whatever we added at the bottom, you see that in the CS proj we said that system.console use at its static. So this also gets auto generated. Whatever the instructions we specifically give inside the CS proj will get automatically generated. That's one tip. So what is that we are doing here is coming back to the coding part. We are invoking it in two different ways. One is using the SDK, and one is using the SDK. One is using the REST API. So the REST API is we are creating the HTTP client factory. We are creating it, and to that we are passing in the request generation. I put it here. Here is the interface. This is a request builder, and we have the text analysis request builder. We are forming the request. The endpoint we have specified, and that endpoint and these values are being concatenated, because when you go and see the endpoint, that endpoint itself has got a trailing slash at the end. You can come here. So be very careful whether in your configuration, are you using the trailing slash or not? Based on that, this concatenation will work. Because I already used in the endpoint, I'm not putting a slash over here. If I'm not using this slash over here in my configuration, then I need to take care. It's just you're creating an HTTP endpoint and passing the key and making a request. So that's one thing. Okay, so this one, if you see that, we are using the SDK. So the other one is the REST client, and this one is using the SDK. Like you can see this, you have the text analytics, the SDK, and with this SDK, you can go get into that to check what all the things it is available. You can go deep into this and see how the constructors are there, what other properties it is supporting. You can go and check this one. So we are it's very easy. The client, where you need to create a text analytics client, and inside the client you can see the detect language, and inside the detect language you can see that a result containing, it clearly says that what is the thing which it is doing. You can see that runs a predictive model to determine the language what we have passed in, and also what other things you will get it, and the data limits, everything. You can go deep into the weeds when you click on that particular method or class and find out. Okay, there are two different ways. One is through the REST client, and another one is through the um, SDK. So you can see that both has been given. The only thing is here it has been marked it as a two different samples. I moved it into one. I'm just calling here itself. And another, that's it. That's the thing. And there's one extension class I've written where I'm doing all the dependency injection, and I'm using a strongly typed configuration object. That means whatever is your service endpoint and your service key, you put it here. Now this configuration should match with the class object with the properties. Like this class has got a service endpoint, a service key. So that class should match with the this properties. So in here, when we are generating the host, we do the configure service, we read the configuration, and we are saying that add app settings and add user secrets. So the user secrets is what? How do you know that we are using user secrets? In the CS project, you will have the user secrets.id. So this specifies. So the thing is that if you come in here, all the user secrets will live in outside your source code. That means like users, your username, app data, roaming, Microsoft user secrets. So these secrets which doesn't exist. So I can happily specify the values which I needed, but I don't need to specify any value over here because it goes and reads it from the secrets.json. And another thing, what we are doing is we are creating a new object, and we are retrieving this section, text analytics app, bind to app config. So this class object has been specified. So all the values which, if it is available here without secrets.json, if secrets.json is there, so it picks up from the secrets.json and assigns those values to the object which has been created in line number 21. It assigns those values to line number 22's app config here. In line number 24, we are saying that app config add singleton. So if at all I'm asking for this, that means it is going to give me this object. Okay. And where is that I'm using that? As you can see here, this configuration is coming in here. Okay, in this one request, let's go to this request generation, and here at the top you can see that the text analytics configuration is coming it as part of the constructor injection, so which we have already loaded it here in the line number 24 as a singleton. So anywhere we need it, all we have to specify is give me this strongly typed configuration object. So it gives us. So from this object, we are retrieving the endpoint and key. So the concept, you understand that you have to specify that in the app configuration or secret.json, create a class, match with the properties, and load that as part of your dependency injection. Anywhere you need it, we can ask it as part of the constructor injection. So here what is happening is one more new thing in .NET 8 is this is called primary constructor. So you're not seeing the constructor here anywhere. Everything is coming as part of the primary constructor over here. Let's execute and see this one. Let's go here. We'll ask basic words in French or Japanese. Let's try this basic words in French. Okay, so let's copy this over. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. So it's over here. At least I know mercy is thank you. When we send a mercy, it is doing a text analysis in two different ways. One is using SDK, one is using the REST client, and it is detected that this is French. So I copied this over, I think bye bye. Now it is detecting it. Now some basic words in Japanese, some basic words in Japanese language. Please, let's try this. Let me copy this. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. Ooh, it didn't recognize. Didn't I copy properly? It's not recognizing. I need to see that. Okay. Hola. Spanish. It recognized hola as Spanish. Hello. Let's try something in Hindi. Some words in Hindi. Pita. Wow. Maybe something to do with the text. There is a gap, I think. So let's see something which is a single word. That might be the reason. Yeah, definitely. That should be the reason. Okay. That I think that's what is the reason, because it was able to recognize mercy, which is French, and hola, it is recognized it as Spanish, and hey, it is recognizing as English. So I think that we can do one thing over this one. Let me put it in the and copy. Yeah, it's a keyboard or something to do with that. See, the moment I paste it, there's a gap which is coming in here. I think that is what the reason, I think. But rest of the things, I think everything should be good. Chinese language. At least let me copy a single word. Thank you. Ooh. Let's try this. Is it recognizing? Oh, see this, the character translation. See, it has nothing to do with the SDK. The way I am passing is wrong, because so that's what it was happening. See this here, two characters. The text encoding is the issue. I'll fix it in the by next session. But here also you see this, whether I'm passing Hindi, but what is going as part of this is question mark. So it's a text encoding. That's the problem. I'll fix that. But it works for all language. If I would have sent this proper encoding, it would have given the languages. But at least we tested to a decent extent French, Spanish, and English. So that's one thing. And if I want to stop, I can type quit and it will stop. And at the same time, I have created, I mean, I didn't create it, Microsoft created. I just did some kind of gimmicks kind of thing, putting or reorganizing, but the code is straight lift from the URL which I was showing here, MSLearn, the Microsoft official lab. I took this sample code and just did some customization, nothing else. It's purely the Microsoft code. So I'll come in here. So whether we can call it using the SDK. So SDK is we are using the library to get the language. You see that the same thing we have seen in C# code also. See this, where is that? If I come in here, you see that we create a text analysis client and detect language. Here also you're seeing that analytics client. And the only thing is this client itself, if you click on this one, the kind of object, you can see that the detect language you call like this. But in C#, you are calling it detect language async or detect language, wherever it is. The difference is the language like C#. And here in Python, they are using the snake case. That is, there is an underline between a word and word. That's a snake case. But in C# methods and everything will be a title case. So that is pretty simple. So I think I've given this link also where the official documentation is coming in. If not, I will add this to the documentation. Yeah, I think I didn't specify this. Yeah, this one. I'll put it here. The second link, I'm adding it. I will once again go through all the documentation, see if I missed anything. If not, this link also I've given. So you should be able to go there and try these two samples, this sample. And here, the Python one we didn't see, isn't it? For the Python one, I just created a virtual environment. I've given all the instructions. So you can see that .venv scripts and activate, and I can run python dot rest client, and this I say mercy. So it makes this and it detects that it has a French, and hola, it goes, and it is Spanish. Oh, we can try that. Whatever we were failing in, we can try that. Maybe Python recognizes that. Oh, see that? I told you, isn't it? The issue was with the text encoding. See this, it's traditional Chinese. It is recognizing. I think now we can go ahead and play in Hindi. Pita by whatever it is. I will copy Pita and paste Pita and see Hindi. Perfect. So I do quit and deactivate the. Okay, so with this we have spent a decent time. So we covered the first two modules from the first section. In this learning path, there are 5 modules. Out of this we covered 2. First one is mostly theoretical, and also we explored some other terms outside this, and did a decent dive into the text analysis, I mean the creation of resources, multi-resource versus single resource. Single resource is where you might get free account with some restrictions. Multi-account is chargeable. And the keys of the kingdom is very important. Please ensure that those are not being compromised. If at all those are compromised, we need to regenerate. All you have to do is come back over here and regenerate key 2 and regenerate key 1. Once we do that, if I come back and if I am trying to execute the same code which we executed, now I say hi, it will, oh, maybe it takes some time. but it should fail technically. I mean, it will definitely fail. It takes a little bit time because I just regenerated the keys. Now it will definitely fail. So anytime we see our keys are compromised, we need to regenerate. And to a decent extent, we spent some time on the library and rest from the C sharp and library and rest from the Python. Uh, we face some problem in C sharp. I think that's the text encoding. I'll see why. How can I do that? I'll improve by the time by the time we come to the next session. That code will be fixed. Everything URL I'll pass it to Parth. He will update it in the YouTube channel. And thank you so much. Back to you, Parth. Hello.
Hey, hi. Thank you
Yeah.
for the wonderful sessions for me. I think final call for the viewers to ask the questions. So, do we have any questions? Please drop in the comment section.
Yeah, this is a long way to go. And
Yep,
okay, so we just started. This is the first session,
yep,
and we're targeting monthly 2 sessions. So
yep. So, I think we don't have any questions coming in for today's session. Okay, Sunny, let's call for a wrap. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Swami. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Yep.
thanks, guys.